Okay, so continuing with our tech efficiencies, how all these tech partners are helping you get more from less, save time, save money, get better results. We have joining me on stage Ryan, the co-founder of Dataships, and Fawad Barry, the Chief Creative Officer at iClothing. We love this tech. Ryan, you go first. Tell us what Dataships does.
I'll tell you, I'm very impressed you didn't even try to pronounce my surname. It's Mackerlane anyway. I know it's a tricky one.
Did you see the way I just swerved that? I was like,
very
Ryan.
tactful. Don't worry, you're like every school teacher I had in primary school. I was just affectionately known as Ryan. So as I said, I'm one of the co-founders of Dataships. So Dataships, we're a marketing compliance company. Super, super sexy, I know.
I mean, it doesn't sound sexy, but
no. That's my party line now. I'm going to try to bring it up a level.
Bring it up.
But we're the first company in the world to bring dynamic marketing consent to market. So what dynamic marketing consent is, for those who don't know in the room, which I assume is pretty much everyone, it's essentially where you replace the marketing consent boxes on a website with ones that update in real time versus the kind of default static ones you get from the likes of Shopify. So it's super niche, but I guess it has a very, very big impact in terms of building your marketing list. So we can get about 90% of people buying from your checkout onto your marketing list by using dynamic marketing consent versus the static marketing consent that the likes of Shopify and so like that give you.
Which gets what percentage on? 30%?
So yeah, about 20, but it depends on the type of brand and cuff-on you have, but typically between 20 and 30% is what you would get using the static one. So we triple that effectively.
So guys, that's a real game changer, okay? Most brands are getting 30% of people opting in after purchase to email. And with Dataships, particularly, and this is particularly powerful, as I understand, for international brands, but for all brands, that opt-in rate goes up to 90%. Now, we all know that those lists are whenever we're working with in-house teams, we're like, there's always a shit ton of money in that database, let alone if you could get a 90% opt-in rate to it. So we'll come back to that. Sorry, I get very excited about things like opt-in rates, as you can see. Fawad, tell us about iClothing and what you do.
Great to be here. And you pronounce my name very well, unlike Ryan, so I'm really happy about that. So iClothing, we set up in 2011. We're an Irish-based online fashion store. We were the first in Ireland, and we're probably the largest. We carry multiple brands, or lots and lots of brands, and it's all direct to consumer. So yeah, great to be here.
And what in terms of, you're obviously one of Dataships' customers, what challenges were you having and how did you come across these guys?
Yeah, it's a great question. Ryan actually got in touch with me back in 2019. Originally, Dataships was a GDPR compliance company, and they were selling privacy policies and cookie policies and all this stuff that none of us actually pay attention to or care about, to be perfectly honest. And I said, look, Ryan, these are great. This is great. It ticks all the boxes. It makes us compliant. But I really don't give a shit about this stuff, to be perfectly honest. So,
well, at least you're on it.
And he said, look, what do you care about? And I said, look, what I care about is who can I email market to compliantly. I have a lot of different customers from all over the world, and I want to know, am I allowed to email this person or am I not allowed to email this person?
Yeah.
And then maybe, Ryan, you want to pick up from there then?
Yeah, so it was one of the hardest sales I think I've ever had. Cold called him and he was not pleasant on the phone. So that was back in our early days. But I did manage to kind of swing around. Probably the only good cold call I ever did in my life. And we originally started out in Dataships back in 2018 as a GDPR compliance company. So simple things you'd have on your e-commerce website, like privacy policies, cookies policies, we kind of automated that all out of the box. And I think you were having trouble at the time because you were just diving into email marketing and you were using stuff you couldn't use. So you got a lot of complaints. So we kind of was somewhat open to talking about that. But once we solved that problem, he then came back and said, listen, don't give a shit about that stuff. I'm just going to pay you as little as I possibly can. But we actually want to be able to market to as many people as possible. It's a good revenue stream for us now. So that actually gave us the idea for the product that we're currently selling and kind of pivoting the company into marketing compliance. So we found by trying to solve a compliance problem for him, we actually solved a really big growth problem that no one really knew. We kind of stumbled upon it by accident, being totally honest. So we were trying to make sure that Fawad was capturing, I suppose, the proper marketing consent for everyone on his website for the different geographies that they're in. But by kind of really looking into it, we found a lot of, I don't want to call them loopholes, I'm going to call them exceptions for different national marketing laws around the world. And what we do by bringing, I guess, the best possible consent box to the user at the checkout, because that's where they're mandatory like meant to give you an email or an SMS phone number or a mobile phone number. So at that point there is when we could like maximize the people we're getting onto his marketing list. So he actually gave us the idea for the current product that we've built.
I didn't get any commission.
No, I'm ridiculous.
Nothing. He got too much of a discount for the GDPR product. We didn't give him any follow-on commission.
But I mean, it's worked.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
so
I mean,
let's talk about some of the numbers that you've had as a result, because I think this is quite staggering.
yeah. Well, what's really interesting is you touched on this earlier. Is the Facebook algorithm, Google? The traditional digital marketing strategies that everybody employs, and what we started to notice over the last 3 or 4 years was they were less effective, and they just weren't working the way they used to. We actually never used to take our email marketing subscribers too seriously. We knew we had a couple of 100,000 people that were subscribed to us. We would send out the traditional email marketing emails out once every week or 2 weeks to our customers. But what we didn't realize was there was a vast number of email contacts that we could untap by using Dataships. And what we started to do was we started to pivot our strategy away from the likes of Facebook and Google, and we started to take on board this idea of first-party data, i.e. email subscribers. Because that data is coming direct to us, these customers have actually taken the time to fill out their contact forms, enter their details, given us all of their personal information. And what we saw actually once we started working with the guys at Dataships was that we went from about 200,000 subscribers to about 600,000 subscribers in the space of a year. One of the biggest markets for us was actually that we were able to unlock with our growth was when we went over to the US and we started marketing in the US. And Ryan mentioned and he touched on this point was with Shopify, for example, they have a default email me with news and offers box at the checkout. And what we discovered by working with the guys at Dataships was that actually in America, there's no need to even have that box. There's no legal basis to have that box there. So by removing that box via this tool, we just got a huge uplift in the number of people we could email market to. And then each country we started to expand into around the world, their tool works dynamically with the laws of that individual country. And we're just getting massive, massive uplifts. And it actually starts to see the numbers start to come true in terms of our revenue and how much kind of volume we're getting from it overall.
I mean, we're talking about over 600,000 in revenue from email and SMS, and that is an uplift.
It's a massive uplift, yeah. Especially for us, we're an Irish company. Ireland's only a 5 million population compared to 60 million here, so it was huge for us, yeah.
And Ryan, just give some examples.
He's really underselling that, isn't he? Like, that was a really big uplift, but...
I was going to come to you and say, because they have got some amazing... Tell us some of the more numbers that brands have achieved in terms of the financial result of increasing that email opt-in rate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ireland is kind of the market we started in. The UK, we have brands like The Essence, Fall. We have a lot of the like beauty brands like Bare by Vogue and also I probably can't give their exact numbers of what we uplifted, but there's no one in the US here today, so I can talk about those brands. So we got a huge kind of supplement store in the US called First Form. We've got them into over 1 million in the space of about nine months uplift from their email marketing campaigns versus in revenue. Yeah. Just from using our app. Because we effectively got their marketing rate from 25% up to 92%, and they do about 70,000 orders a month. So you can obviously see, like, rather than getting 10,000 people on their marketing list for every purchase, they're getting 15, 60,000. So it's just a volume numbers game. And then we recently last week got Tom Brady's brand signed up. So that's probably very cool for those who like American football in the room.
Yeah, I think it's also important. Like, we didn't have in-house legal and compliance team. We didn't have a data protection officer. Like I mentioned earlier, what we wanted to really understand is who can we market to and can we market to these people, and that's the biggest value add that these guys brought to us.
As well as all the extra money.
As well as all the extra money.
Well, there you are. If that's not a tech company that gets you more, it gets you all you can out of everything you've already got, then I don't know what is. So great to have you guys. Ryan will be around. Farad, you're staying on for the rest of the day. Okay, great. So they're here if you've got any questions. But thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.